You're listening to Talk Amongst Yourself, the solo space where we pause, reflect, and get radically honest. I'm Kayleen. This episode is for anyone who's ever been emotionally overdrawn and quietly decided, I'm done. However, before we get into this episode, I need to actually finish up and talk about where I've been. So, as you know, in the last episode, I discussed uh, being stressed out about wondering whether or not you're going to have a job. Well, I still have a job. So I guess that's a good thing. But in all reality, there were a lot of people that lost their jobs. There were a lot of really good people, people that I collaborated with, people that I learned from, people that I definitely respect. So that was the hardest part about it. But I still have a job for now. And all I can do is move forward. And But I will say the stress that I experienced for 3 months was completely unnecessary, and I believe that things were done in a wrong way, and I think it hurt a lot of people in the process. So now it's a rebuilding time, and I don't know how you rebuild trust. There's a plan in place, but that's gonna be hard, and I think it's, gonna take a long time before things are back to where they need to be. We're doing a lot more with a lot less. So that is going to be hard, considering we could have lost thousands and we only lost 169, but still. We didn't lose anybody in my area, but there are other areas that were highly affected. And my main area that I'm in, um, we took the biggest hit. So, um, anyway, I got a job. It's still there. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify that before I go ahead and move on with my topic. But I also want to address one more thing. I think that is very important. It's happening to our nation right now. Um, and that is the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I will say at this point, nobody deserves to be assassinated. It doesn't matter whether we agree with their underlying politics, their underlying viewpoints, etc. But I will tell you this, I'm not going to celebrate someone who was a bigot, who was a racist, who was not a good human being. I don't wish that upon him, the death that he has experienced, because it's pretty messed up and that is not the way to go about things. However, like I said, I'm not going to fly a flag at half mast when there was a senator and her husband who were killed just before that and nobody cared about them. That's pretty, to say the least, pretty shitty. Uh, Kirk, Charlie Kirk is basically someone who had an opinion. That's it. And everyone is entitled to their opinion. And I will not be, supporting anything having to praise this man because there was nothing about him that I felt that was worthy enough to be praised. He is not the Messiah. He is not Jesus Christ. I don't care. However, I do care that he had a family. He had people that cared about him. However, no one deserves to die in such a manner. So I just wanted to clarify that and get that out of the way, because that seems to be the biggest topic that is around right now. And flying flags at half mast is a bunch of bullshit. So if you can't do that for a senator, someone who's in government, why would you do it for someone who is a nobody? Just curious. I think it's garbage. Anyway, let me just move on. Um, this episode is for anyone who's ever been emotionally overdrawn and quietly decided I'm done. Um, we're not going into a rage story. It's not a heartbreak anthem. It's a calm refusal, a soft threat, a declaration of emotional sovereignty. And let's begin. Um, there's a version of me that people that cross me will never see again. Um, because if I trust you and I give you a chance, and you break my trust or you don't have enough guts to come and confront me about something, then I don't need you in my life. I don't want you in my life. I would rather have somebody who is honest with me, even if it's going to hurt me. I'd rather you be honest with me and call me on my shit. That is more important to me than anyone. Anyone. I try to be generous. Um, I try to have your back. And I always tell people up front there's a cost. If you screw me, that cost is me. I'm not coming back, and I'm not coming back the same way I am or I was. I will go ahead and I will act professional if it's at work. If it's in my personal life, I'm going to cut you off because you know what? I am too old to worry about that kind of shit anymore. Um, I feel like you assumed that I would be there as a permanent fixture. You assumed that my presence was unconditional, and maybe it was to a certain point. But like I said, trust is conditional in my life. And I know that we're supposed to love people unconditionally, but I'm sorry, trust is a condition. Um, I kind of feel like if I have your back and you don't have mine, then you're going to find out I'm not going to be there for you. But if you have my back, I'm going to do anything I can to protect you, no matter if you're in my personal life or if you're in my business life. I'm going to protect you as much as I can. As long as you're doing what you need to do, I've got you 100%. Um, I think a lot of people misunderstand that, and I think a lot of them take advantage, and they think that it's my weakness. It is not my weakness, believe me, you. And if I have to manage you, I'm going to manage you to the full extent. But I'm going to manage you in a way that is professional and in a way that is how it's supposed to be. Um, if we are in a friendship and we've known each other for years, and one day you just decided that you're going to misunderstand me, then we have a problem. I will love you to no end. I honestly will. However, I will not take your bullshit. I will not. And I think that if you can't support me, that's a big problem. But if you can't support my partner, that's an even bigger problem. I feel like a lot of people voted against my life. You know, I'm married to a woman, and that is very important to me. And I feel like if you voted for Trump, then you never supported me and you don't support me because right now they're trying to dismantle everything that is out there, everything that we are trying to open up to. A lot of people talk about how they're Christians and they talk about the Bible and they talk about this and that. But the way I feel about it is Jesus said, love thy neighbor. It's not your place to judge. And if you can't live that way, then why are you even calling yourself a Christian? I'm just curious. That's something that I'm truly curious about. Um, but I will depart from your life if necessary. I don't care how long I've known you. That doesn't matter to me. It's kind of like seniority at work. That doesn't matter to me. If you're not a good worker, who cares if you have 26 years on the job? I don't care. I don't care if you have 26 years as opposed to 6 months. I'm going to go with the 6 month person as long as they're doing what they need to be done. I don't have time to work with someone that works the system because that's not what it's about. It's about integrity, it's about accountability. Those are the two most important things to me. And if you don't have either one of those, I don't want to be associated with you. And that includes in my personal life. If you don't have that, why am I going to waste my time on you? That is why my circle is yay big. It's very, very small. And I'm okay with that because really at this age, I don't need much. I mean, I think I'm finally living my life and I still see a counselor and she asked me how my life was and I was like it's pretty good. And she's like, okay, then if it's that good, what's wrong with you living that life? And what's wrong with you being okay with that? Because guilt has overwhelmed me. And I shouldn't feel guilty for living a life that I want to live, for living a good life. It's okay. It is okay. You don't always have to bring people with you. And that's something that Viola Davis talked about in her book. She talked about how she had this innate um, need to bring everybody with her. She thought she had to bring everyone. And you don't have to do that, because if you tend to do that, they're going to bleed you dry. And I'm the first and only one to graduate college in my family. And just because I did that and I make pretty decent money doesn't mean that I have to take you with me. I don't owe you anything. You owe yourself. And I feel like there's a version of me that people see and people tend to want to take advantage of. And that person is gone. That person has been gone. You know, I'm not hiding. I'm not waiting. That person is not retrievable at all. You can grieve her, you can miss her, but you ain't going to get her back, because I'm not there anymore. Life moves on. The world keeps turning. It doesn't matter what you go through. We go through death, we go through birth, we have all that stuff, but the world keeps turning. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But I will tell you that I'm not available to people the way I used to be. People would call, and I was accessible on all fronts. But I'm not as accessible as I used to be. I feel like when I was that accessible, people would use me. People would push and push and push, and I would give and give and give. And finally, I'm to a point where that's just not me anymore. And I'm not angry about it. I'm not bitter about it. I'm just done. It's just something I'm just not going to do. And if you're listening to this and you're wondering if it's about you, it probably is. If you think that it's about you, guess what? It probably is about you. It probably is. But I will tell you, I am no longer going to be there, just unconditionally available for you, because I am busy. I am busy living my life and enjoying my life. And that's my plan. If you want to be part of the enjoyment and you want to be part of the plan, let's go. Call me, text me, let's do it. But I'm no longer chasing. I'm tired of chasing. I'm so over the chasing. There's so many people in my life that are like, yeah, let's get together. We get to the day, we get to the week before the day, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can't make it. You know what? With no plans to ever get together, I don't have time for that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just over it. I just don't want it anymore. And I'm not going to ever be the same to you. I'm just not going to be. There may be a part of me that wants to be. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. It just means that I am moving on with my own life, and I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it. Why not enjoy something when it's going okay? Every time something's going good, we always tend to sit there and we're waiting for the fucking other shoe to drop. Why? That doesn't even fucking make sense. If you're doing well, go with it. Go with the flow. It doesn't matter who's there for you. It really doesn't. Because in the end, we die by ourselves. Yeah, there might be people next to us, but and they're, holding our hands and they're saying it's okay to go. But in the end, you're on your own on that end journey. We don't even know what that is. Nobody knows until you go through it. And I don't know if it's going to be dark, if it's just going to shut off and it's going to be dark, but I feel like there's something more for us out there. And as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more spiritual. And at the same time, I'm becoming more aware of my surroundings, meaning I know who's there for me and I know who isn't. I know who I can call. And believe me, there are going to be a lot of you that I don't even think about calling, but there are going to be a few of you that I will call. And I know for a fact you're going to be on my doorstep, whether you know my address or not, you're going to be there. And that's what's important to me. That's why my circle is the way it is. because I know who's got me and I know who doesn't have me. I know who's got me at work and I know who doesn't have me. I know who has me at home and I know who doesn't have me. And I am very, very fortunate to be one of those people that has a partner that is just amazing. I don't tell her this very often, but I'm very, very lucky. I'm very lucky that I have who I have. And she's very important to me. And she's my best friend. And we go through a lot of shit together. And, I have a couple other best friends too, because I think you can have more than one best friend. I know a lot of people think you have to have one, but that's bullshit. You can have more than one best friend. And yeah, maybe you don't love them the same. You might love them different ways. I mean, you have one that is a truth sayer. You probably have one that agrees with you. You probably have one that's going to call you on your shit. But if you could get one of those people and they're all of those things, then you are fucking very lucky. And I think that I at least have two that are like that. And that's bomb. That's bomb. And I know I'm going to call them. And I know that they're going to tell me, get off your soapbox, get your shit together, get it together, girl, pick it up. My generation is about fucking rubbing some dirt in it and moving on. But I will say, I'm not going to be the same. I will not be there for you. The version of me that you thought you knew is not the version of me that I am now. And through growth, through age, through meditation, through everything that I do these days, through integrity, through accountability, I am a totally different person than I was. But I am proud of the person I've become, and I'm proud of the things I've accomplished. For a long time, I wasn't. I didn't think I deserved the shit that I had. I didn't think that I deserved me, I guess. And I think once you can love yourself and you feel like you deserve yourself, then you are on a whole different plane. And it's either they're coming with you or they're being left behind. And I have left a lot of people behind, and I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that. There are some people I miss, um, but a lot of those people that I miss are gone. They're dead and buried. And I miss those people, and I still think about those people. And I often wonder why it was them and not me. I often wonder why. And I feel like there's more that I got to do, and maybe that's why. Not everybody is here to move on to that next level. Not everybody's here to teach and to learn. I love learning, and it's amazing. But, you know, um, I'm not always going to be here, and I'm not always going to be there. I'm not always going to be there for you. But if you are one of my people, I will be there. Absolutely. Anyway, thanks for listening to Talk Amongst Yourself. If this episode felt like a mirror, a wound, or a wake up call, good. Closure isn't cruel, it's sacred. And the version of me you'll never get back, she was generous. I'm not. Anyway, I'll be back next Sunday. I know I've been gone for a while. I've been gone because I had to get myself together, guys. And I think when you need to get yourself together, you should take that time. So that's why I've been gone on a hiatus. I mean, I went through a lot. For 3 months, I was worried about whether or not I was going to have a job. And especially the last week. The last week was the most stressful week of my life. I mean, I was literally physically sick. And so I took a break because I knew I couldn't do this show the way that I needed to do it. Anyway, I'll be back next Sunday. Until then, stay soft, stay brave. But most of all, I will always say it, as you know, at the end of my show, stay grounded and keep talking amongst yourself. Anyway, life is good, you guys. Life is good. It is what you make of it. Keep on pushing. Don't stop.